the meaning and impact of depth of testing. It deliberates on potential next steps and challenges ahead. Track 2 is virtualization impact on software testing. It's an overview of virtualization technology, how it can help in software testing, and what benefits it gives to testers. So, people who are interested in track 2, please proceed to that room there. Everyone interested in track 1, please stay here. Just a request to everyone, while the sessions are on, please keep your mobiles on silent. That's just the your speakers.
Also, if anybody is speaking about it, use the hashtag vodka, #vodka and #hotworks that will allow people to discover your tweets easily.
Also, for your quick reference, we have the agenda in your welcome kit, so you can refer for the talks going on in the entire day. Ground testing by Shrinivas Kulkarni. Test solution architect in Barclays Technology Center, and he has industry experience of around 15 years. He specializes in the areas of automation, exploratory testing, context-driven testing, and pedagogy, test and sampling for enterprises. He is a popular blogger in India, and he has an average of 900 minutes to the blog per week. That's fascinating. He's a regular speaker in conferences, and also he's a coach and mentor for deploy testers. So, without much ado, I would like to call upon Mr. Shrinivas to deliver his talk on testing is dead, log testing.
Speaker microphone. It's fine. Okay, so if people on that side have some 50, the schedule of my talk actually no problem. And I thought, okay, I will use the early talks because some points will be done. And when I was told this for my first talk, I wanted to opportunity to use others' ideas, but good job. And speed at which he was going, I thought I could finish up all I wanted to say. Thanks to the company employee to do that. Okay, so my talk is on testing the data and a very practical situation for people who are testers. With Chaitany's introduction, the questions that are asked and the questions gave me some kind of a hint that the crowd that I'm talking to, the group of people I'm talking to, is kind of having a great presentation from one kind of industry than the other. That's my hypothesis. Okay, as we complete this talk, let us test whether my hypothesis is correct or not, and probably we'll come to know what two groups I'm talking about. And my hypothesis is that today we have more than 80% belonging to one group of people. Let's see whether that's going to be of any, whether I'm correct in this. Two worldviews. Let us start understanding what are those two worldviews. It's primary is always on which is the world in which the world of software makers, people whose business is to make software. Some in the web, likes of SAP and Apple for consumer related software products and trending hardware products and things like that. There's one more. Like to Adobe. One word of software. When we say IT and software, this is one word group of people who have some kind of a very specific practice. Just one word. As opposed to this is the other word where few of us can live. Likes of my own employer Barclays, various banks, various companies in the retail, aerospace industry, hospitality, pharma, all the businesses where their core domain of operation is not making software, but use software. Use software to make money. Use software to run the business. This is the second one. Now, in continuous discussion as we go forward, we keep referring to these two words and say testing is dead, testing is not dead, something is happening here, something is not happening there. The idea is to pick at these two words and say which word I'm talking about. And to me, for last few years, this has been a very recurring and a distinct differentiation. And I find it surprising that in the blogs and conferences and all that, very few people have alluded to this difference. I want to push this along, and probably if you take few of you take this thing and take it forward, probably the difference becomes very clear if you think, am I in this world, am I in this world? The today's talk is going to be based on which world testing is dead, which testing is dead, whether it is dead actually or not, and we will start exploring it, kind of dissecting the views of where the testing is dead or not. Before we move on to the next slide, I would just want to reflect on the interdisciplinary nature of testing. Chaitanya gave an example of 20 years he started and where there was no role for testing and all that. I can identify three distinct streams from which testing now joined as one stream, and that stream is again splitting up into several streams as we go along. One stream was in the good old days, where you had the huge mainframes and you had to punch your program and go and get your program executed and the results are there. In those days, developers used to be testers. Testers used to be, there was no separate role called tester. So you can see the element of the development practices, the words that developers used, making their way into testing. Second strand I can very distinctly say is about the quality revolution that Japanese car manufacturing brought in, which means that when we saw something related to quality, suddenly it becomes, you start sounding more authentic the moment you start talking about quality. Right? The word quality has an enigma for people to attract, oh, this guy making some sense because he's talking about quality. Right? So our software people immediately latched on to the likes of Toyota, likes of total quality management, the words like quality assurance and all that. We lifted them from manufacturing industry, but back in and put it here, without knowing does it make sense to us or not. And since the word quality has such an influence, the word quality assurance, the quality and all that became immediately hit. Earlier in software industry, before we get the role of testing and all that, the word quality assurance was not catching up. When the automobile industry started using the word quality, suddenly it becomes so important for us that if they can manufacture car, some small country way in the far east can overtake the mighty US and change their practices of the way they produce automobiles. Why can't software people pick up that terms and words fit into this? So second strand that joins in the practice of testing in the name of quality assurance, which is a problem that, or which is more the practice of when we should start applying, what time we should start making the stop. There is a story of a kid who says, today we learned how to spell banana, but the teacher did not tell us where to stop. Keep on banana, went like that. Extend that exam, what I would say is when we learn from other industry, we fail to stop when the similarity stops applying. Third distinct trend which influenced the way that the testing has gone from 80s, 90s and 2000 and the last decade is the emergence of what is called as outsourcing. So these businesses started using the software in a big way. They thought of doing testing, they thought of doing development and all that. Somebody said, okay, let's push it to the way for locations in India, they can do it at a cheaper price. Then came the organizations, big five IT companies in India, and said, okay, this is the situation, we can put up a huge army of people and everybody does the same thing. So I put up a factory of people who can do testing, factory of people who can write test cases, factory of people who can write automation code. So the idea of taking the practice of software and put it into a factory context is the third distinct trend that added in. So if you see testing today is culmination, mixture of these three cultures. Put it together. One is development, other is the quality assurance culture from this, and the third one is the factory culture. So the factory culture of the Indian agencies, Indian IT companies has bought the idea that we started in quality in the Toyota sense. It brought its logical conclusion. They proved to some extent that software can indeed be developed in the same manner as you can develop the cars things. Okay, so the multidisciplinary nature of the testing makes it very hard for somebody to say testing is there or testing is not. So we want to explore on that as why and how these two words computer testing is okay. Just to give one example before I move on, if you throw the word test case into the world where the people who are mixed, somebody from Google, somebody from let's say Google, these two people understand the term test case then. The Google guy will say, oh, this is a class, says the test class extends this. You start immediately imagining the test case to be a class, as in code. If you talk to a guy who's IT, he will say, okay, 3 columns, 4 columns, number of steps, expected results, actual results, pass, fail, a long typical Excel template. Most of us have used for it. This is one example of how these two industries treat. A very basic, if I take test case equivalent to an atom, at fundamental level we have disagreement on what one term means in each of the students. Hence, it becomes important if somebody stands up at the conference and says testing is there, you should stand up and say which testing is there. That's what this has to do. So, who is saying testing is there? This guy's name is Alvaro. Sorry if this text is not very clear. This guy is Alvaro Soloria. You have to know that Google is very big guy in terms of the popular guy in terms of his contribution to software. He's a tester. He's an engineering guy. And the GTAG 2000, for those who don't know what GTAG, Google Test Automation Conference, GTAG 2000, this guy makes a huge claim by saying testing is dead. And that is the reason of China events in the last year. People started saying, no, testing is dead, testing is dead, testing is dead in one community. In other community, either they are not aware of somebody saying that, or they say, no, testing is not yet dead, and they keep on going. So the whole talk is about a review of what happened and who said it. So this guy said testing is dead. Another guy. Eurostar last year, I was sitting in the conference. I was listening to the conference. The guy called vodQA7. Today we have a talk on behavior development. This guy is a figure, an industry figure in that area. He's one of the creators of the framework called vodQA, which helps you do that kind of behavior. Okay, this guy has a little twist to this, saying that he did not say testing is dead, he said testing phase, which means he's referring to something. The third guy, James Whittaker, the guy who wrote how to write software. Very famous guy. In Google, he again was a professor in Florida technology, joined Microsoft, joined Google, and recently he again went back to Microsoft. This guy is a very famous guy in terms of software testing. He is the only exception in the group tester. He was an academic guy who did a lot of work in testing. All 3 people are developing this. Fine. The last position James Whittaker held in Google was of engineering guy. Do you see an interesting phenomenon here? It is the people in the other community who say I'm a director of engineering or I'm who is a programming kind of director, coming and saying testing is dead. Very unusual. Unfortunately, a testing guy cannot say the other way. Right? You can't do it. Somewhat we are in the disadvantaged position where we can't go and say other part is dead. We don't have any business to go up there and say this is not dead or this is dead. Okay? So let's quickly look at what these people are saying. So if somebody is dead, what normally thing you do is you take a statement. In a typical crime investigation, you take a statement, let's take statements of each of the people, what to say. Alberto. Old mentality versus new test mentality. I mean, if you can, those who are interested, they can refer to me. I will probably get them in the link. This whole talk of Alberto is on the YouTube. We can go to this. We get Alberto Somalia testing in there. This whole video is there. He compares old and new mentality, where the old mentality is about waterfall model, where there are 5 developers, 1 tester, and then some 6 months. Rigorous cycle of requirements, development, design. The code is literally thrown out of the wall to a tester who somehow tries to do some testing and all that. At the end of the day, if the pressure comes, it happens. That old mentality versus he compared new mentality that I talked about in meters and 16, 15 minutes a day, that paradigm, the comparison was made in a new comparison where you make the continuous learning as a part of your culture, as part of your whole game of software development. In that world, testing is dead. He further says, testing slows down things. That's bad. When you are so much focused on your ability or your goal, say, I need to get this picture out of my goal at this time. I love that. When somebody comes and says, wait, it has to be tested. In a very loose level and QA, right? That idea of saying, let me develop first, then I'll throw you to somebody to do testing. In that sense, the perception in the industry that testing slows down things. I've heard people say, managers say, or some of the business stakeholders say, testing comes in between my releasing. People hate testing because it comes in the way of releasing the software in time. Many of the people who are, especially the IT world, we hear a lot of business people signing up for the board, go into the releases, they say this testing is stopping us, we got to be live today. Right? The perception of testing coming in the way makes it dead because people hate now anything that is put in the way of continuity. That's the context. Speed first, quality second. This is a big change that which I see all of us have been aware of. In the world of Twitter and Facebooks, this is going to be the slogan. I didn't worry about speed first, quality second. There are less, so many. If those companies, those groups, and here is where I can constantly check back over 2 worldviews. In one worldview, this is a perfectly valid. Speed first, quality second. What about another word? We'll come to it. He talks about what is known as product bug versus idea bug. He gives example. If there is a bug in the product, what does it mean? It means product doesn't work as per somebody's idea of requirements. Some requirements are documented. So the product works in a different way than it is intended by people. What would be the idea? What would be the idea? Wrong product. Which means they work out of the business. If you are a Facebook or a Twitter, you develop it so well, literally like, all the requirements are covered by all test cases. Probably the recipe is written by God. Everything is fine. You take about 1 or 2 years to develop the software. And you release to market, nobody uses it. That is an idea. Alberto's point was, look for idea bugs, don't chase the product bugs. And again, this nicely loops back to speed first, quality second idea, where if you are chasing speed, quality second. Fail fast and cheap. If you are failing anything to things fast without burning out of money of venture capitalists. This is again a very startup oriented talk. If you're burning somebody's money before your products are generating revenue, it is important for you to fail fast. Take the idea, build a product, show to some people, and check whether if it works. Fail fast. If it works, move on. Otherwise, jump the idea on to the next idea. That is important, and that is very much ties to the idea of testing in that sense. You can't have an Excel way of testing it so well that you take 4 years to test. Doesn't work. Focus on building the right aid. Again, this is a very old debate about should we focus on building it right or should we focus on building the right thing. So he just flips it, considering on the idea of building the right thing. He says focus on building the right thing, not building the other. QA and automation. See, let me make it very clear as a part of my discussion. And I find it a little surprising that ThoughtWorks prefers to call testing and QA interchangeable. To me, it's not. Traditionally, and here is my view. Okay? When you say QA, you are traditionally referring to that second stream that joined, which is the Toyota culture, where somebody says, if I'm done with it, it goes through a set of checks. And there's a process there. Somebody comes to the checklist and says, next, done. The people who are traditionally quality assurance people will focus on process. Will focus on defining process, focus on the processes adhered to, and they continuously move the process. The focus is not on people. Focus is not the activity of checking per se. It is something which is engineered, something which is built into. Like if you go to any manufacturing facility in Toyota or Tata Motors, what you see is the quality assurance culture where it is hard to use and very best practice. As compared to that, testing is not about process. Testing is about people, how they think about it, how do they get the attitude of looking for problems, trying to see if I do this, what happens. So testing is very much people focused. Testing is about doing things, getting hands dirty with the product, whereas QA traditionally from the day we borrowed from the manufacturing field, align itself with the process part. It is not about doing testing. It's about defining process and making sure that the process is adhered to. Right? So the differentiation is that. Now if in Alberto's talk, he said, if you are a traditional quality assurance people, you are dead. Meaning that if you are not doing testing yourself, you are dead. If you are defining process, if you are doing audit whether somebody has followed a process or not, you are dead. And he went on to the extent of saying if you are somebody who is writing automation in a traditional GUI, QTPs, like people are familiar with what QTP is, which we tool. If you are doing that, since you are dead because no testing is happening. Where are you going to automate? Whatever testing happens is by the developers. No process, no automation, you are dead. That's the level of the direction in which his speech went up to. Okay. The word quality is stated in the QA of the session. Or people said, testers should not call themselves as testers, but they should call themselves as quality. Alberto immediately shortcut it says quality is tainted. Quality has a bad reputation. Now, very soon testing will have bad reputation because it's a very empty talk. Saying I am responsible for quality, you are responsible for quality. It's like kind of playing game in the whole situation. The word quality is tainted. The quality assurance becomes problematic in the given context. I encourage people to stop me in between. If I have any questions, let's not really have a structured thing. If there is anything that you find a little disturbing or if you're not able to agree with it, please we'll take a short break and we can move on. Okay? I was showing this to my daughter and showed what these two indicate. Symbolically, what these two indicate. Horse chasing what horse stands for? Speed. What bird stands for? Bird. Right? It is not speed chasing quality. It is speed first policy. I had tough time getting this speed main theme of his talk was speed first, call second. In that context, testing is better. Next doctor who said testing is better. Dr. Whittaker stated what he says. This is very interesting, this is very amazing statement. Developers are producing better code, which means that now testing becomes dead because developers are so better here. There is no point in having testing at all. Why is the developers are getting better? Look at all these things here. The whole idea of building the quality right into the team developers has made developers so more sophisticated. A lot of tools coming into the picture. The way they incrementally build small builds, put together, show to the customer, see the feedback, the way whole cycle of design and the talk about has made developers very sophisticated. Developers in today's world might be feeling quite better than the developers who were in the 80s or 90s. Right? At the time, if you are Windows 3.0, if you are early developers of Microsoft, you would have to write everything in C. There was no any framework for you to write tests first, then you do the other code, right? A lot of tools that are available in today's world were not available 20 years back, right? The whole idea of object-oriented programming coming up, the reusable components, the framework where you can publish this thing, you can build over it, is something that has come very late. Like before that, you would have all stuff in hardware at one language, programming language, which was not suited for this kind of a modular development, right? It is true that developers are getting better, but we will have to get in ourselves if we are a head of tester, we would never get it. No matter how good a developer is, he's human at the end. He has all the problems or the limitations of a human being. He may be lazy, he may be angry, or forgotten. All human elements come into picture. No matter what tools you give it to developers, you will need to face the problems of developers as humans who are inherently fallible. They can make mistakes. Writing test plan is a waste of time. Nobody reads that. Here again, caution. Test plan has different meanings in one word. Word of Google, as opposed to test plan has a different word in the other word. Again, now let me ask the question. Let me start testing the hypothesis again. How many of in today's world are from IT industry, not product? How many are from IT industry, not software product? How many work for product work? How many work for IT work, like some Cognizant or Captive or right? So, am I right in saying that these two groups think about test plan differently? So, when Whittaker says the test plans are going to be wasteful, throw them out, get into testing directly. He's talking about wasteful documentation as if something is written beginning of the project. Say somebody has to sign it off, right? That's our procedure. So you have to write a test strategy and some 40-page document. Out of which first 5 pages are all the history of the documentation. So many things. Once James Park, who's testing group, said, you take any of these test plans, print them out. After printing, staple them together, remove the first 10 pages. You have now lost a single useful thing in that whole page. Okay, I have to be rushing. Okay. So, remote testing, we will be more responsible. Right? That's what the mentality of James. Cloud advantage. This is a very important point, and all of us have to be aware of this because we are going to get hit by this as we go along. Where with the cloud, we can test with about a limited number of users. 1% of users who release the software, then they will test it and come back. The old mentality was a good mentality where the cloud makes it possible for you to deploy. If your product is on cloud-based service, you can afford to take advantage of the cloud to Crowdsourcing, less really the users do the required testing. We don't want somebody who is acting like a user to do testing. Instead of that, we have user guide. It may have its own plus or minuses, but the world is moving towards that. Three main things: good development practices, crowdsourcing, cloud. These three things are making the change in the testing mentality from testing being dead or testing new right? Testing was always compromised, nobody complained, right? We all are familiar with the idea that testing was always compromised because of the time. Because there is less time, nobody complained. We have been still managing it. Every time testing gets done, nobody cares, right? So, point is, where testing as we progress in the life cycle, as we do the testing late in the cycle, it becomes less valuable. And it is there. Testing is saving it for developers, which is kind of echo of the idea that if you have testing developers in the office and remove that saving it, make developers more accountable. What is good of a solid product if nobody uses it? Which is the idea of Albert where look for idea products, don't look for products. This is post-mortem report. Now the question is, what happens to the other one? Do the other one also have to come? That's a big part of the question that we go to pursue now. So, please stop. This when it is being on both for speed and the problems. And they say, okay, I'm from Google, I'm from CDS, from the top. When they meet, they exchange ideas. The ideas are tried out. Some people try to do this, some of the ideas of engineering process coming to Google, some of the ideas of the HR coming to CDS, like some CDS, things will change. Testing is not dead in other world. If you are in other world, testing is not dead. Culture, legacy, business context. If you are in the banking industry, you can't afford to say speed first or the second. We talk about users want the software to be released at quick succession like this. If you are using the net banking, if you are kind of bank and if you are using net banking, would you say let the ICICI bank site refresh itself in 15 times a day? You would say that, right? There are contexts in which the speed first or the second simply doesn't work. Where the regulated things doesn't work. The restaurants or the pharma doesn't work. So those cases just taken on data. Brain data testing is time. If you are somebody who is kind of following some road process that's something for you to keep on doing it without applying your mind, that testing is time over earliest time. People, one person, one from the other one, we need aliens, exchange ideas, change habits. This is a new word. Business in the primary context. It's not wrong. Skill testing is valuable when it fits into the context. Roll-up testing in quality first and speed first, quality second approach. You have to be quick enough to fit in this context. Scaling up to agile fragile methods. If you are agile fragile, for those who don't know what is fragile, it is post-agilism. After you invent an agile, what happens? What next model? What if you don't do testing at all? And that's what the speed first, quality second is leading to. That testing will survive. This is the main message of the talk. Which listens to the stakeholders and the relevance in this concept. No matter whether you are this or other, you have to be listening to your stakeholders, your vote. You are listening to your vote. That is successful in that context. Provide information to the business stakeholders that they want. If likes of Google are expecting certain information from testing, give that. If you are in the IT industry, if your people want very elaborate report on the test pass fail and the traditional waterfall model, do that. In that case, that testing will go to survive. Speed and hence the cost at that speed. Though you might getting to your stakeholders, it's important that you know this in the context. Adapts the changes to the speed in the business context world. So you need to be adapting and adapt to the changes. Finally, it does not come in the way. Closing remarks. Finally, and the last line. There is some job security in coding. If you are in IT world, you can survive with the problem that you are having. Provided you listen to your context. You provide the information that your stakeholders see. You provide the information at the speed and the cost that they want. Okay, then you can survive. Listen and align to your bosses. When what they expect is not testing. Keep talking to the people on the other side. You listen to your bosses, but that doesn't mean you don't talk to your people in the other world. Keep talking to understand what trends are going on. Manage the the way you manage the portfolio. If you apply, if you put some money in some stocks or mutual funds, you don't leave it there for your right? You keep on checking what is happening. So today automation is not investment. Tomorrow something else is not investment. So the way you manage your portfolio financially, the same way you manage skills, the way you orient yourself in the industry. It is important that you orient that. Testing is that long industry. This is a story from something like the phrase originated in France, where the king was dead, the heir was immediately appointed when it comes to monarchy. In order to avoid the problems of saying, they say king is dead, but long is dead. One way is that the king will agree on, and that they should new king a long life. In this, I am also saying, one king is dead, another king is still alive. Let's hope that that king survives on. And this king is dead. If you are aware of the fact that you are in this world, you are dead, but you are born again in that world with a different focus, with a different skill that you are going to look at. Finally, never stop learning. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Shrinivas, for the wonderful talk. Can we have the question and answer session now?
Yes.
So, do you think that in future the other side of the world, when they are following the traditional testing model, will somehow in future 5 years down the line they'll start following the continuous delivery or type of model that they have?
It's happening. It's already happening. In the IT industry, we talk about banks and some insurance companies and the likes of pharmaceuticals. Every such company has practices where they are picking up agile, including the top banks. There is an agile group because the CTO of this company suddenly joins CIO of this company, he will bring in all the processes here. It is happening. But the problem is, I talked about culture, I talked about the legacy in which they face huge challenge in pushing this agile through, because you can't release the way you release the continuous delivery in a infrastructure which has about 30 mainframe programs and some databases here and a very complex landscape of things. In that situation, it is not possible to deliver a deployable piece of software in 2 weeks or even a month or even 3 months of kind of a iteration cycle. It is not possible because of the legacy. And some part is culture. They said we have been doing like this for several hundred years. And suddenly some guy says you have to change the way you are doing development or you are doing testing. They will not accept. As humans, we are very much reluctant to test. It's our inertia. We don't change. I mean, we resist change. That's the answer.
Aisha, you were talking about managing testing. My question is how? Because the thing is, I've experienced myself, certification doesn't work. Okay, learning automation tool doesn't work. The thing is, in the industry, you won't get that opportunity, and those opportunities, if comes to you, like if come across somewhere, it is given to some other who is more experienced in those or has more certification. I've done quite a couple of certification in automation tools as well, but nothing has come across. So how do you manage the skills when you talk about upgrade your skill? How would you upgrade your skill when you are not given an opportunity to work on something?
If I may repeat the question of others, his question is about there is trend in the industry where they have certified institutes. All the certifications like ISTQB, CST, so many things. There are certifications by the tool vendors. If certification is not a way to get upgrade your skills or get jobs, what else is? To answer your question, I have, though on my blog or other as a part of my community, I have taken a stand that certification is not going to work for you. But more and more friends have realized that if you are a fresher, you are out of college, you are very good at testing. But unless you are certified, unless something is shown in the resume, nobody is going to call you for the interview. It makes business sense. It's not a technical sense. It makes business sense if you get certified. It helps you to get an interview. Go ahead and do that. But to answer your question about how the tester can upgrade his skills, that's probably the answer is very long and elaborate. I have in my blog I have a few posts dedicated to that. I can share that link with you. In quick way, what I would say is that you need to be really reading very broader type of areas. You pick up programming, it's a must for today's world. You pick up ideas of technology, understanding how the things work. If I ask many people, in the interviews of the junior testers, my favorite question is, can you explain how internet works? If you go and click google.com and say, can you trace the whole journey from this browser to wherever it is and come back? And many testers fail to recognize and fail to explain that problem because they are not gone into that area of the world of technology. So understand technology, pick up programming, read wide range of topics in terms of philosophy, science, go back to science, go back to physics, go back to a lot of areas which will tickle your mind in a nice way. Not try playing Sudoku, try playing chess. The ideas that make you a critical thinker. As a tester, it is important that this guy should be able to learn quick, adapt to situation. If you want to adapt in the quality first, speed first, quality second paradigm, you have to be quick. You have to do it fast. You have to do it best. You have to do it fast. How can you do it fast? You have to practice things. There are a lot of initiatives today's world which help you to practice. You test is one side where you can find bugs and you get paid. Right? This is a commercial proposition. And there are things like weekend testing where you can participate and you can get practice and this thing. Showing your skill on demand is key.
I'm working on product-based moment. So there are different opportunities for customizing in services industry as well as product-based industry. Because I'm working on the same product from almost 4 to 5 years. So being in the product-based industry, because I'm in finance and business. So if I want to work in some way on some life sciences, then how should one be upgrading their skills or adapting to it so that I can be ready for the government as well? Because if I go somewhere and I'm working in finance, surely it will be work on financial productivity. In that case, you want to take your test and how should one going back?
Okay, this question is about somebody from product companies want to shift to IT services. What they should do? The answer remains same. You have to be quick learner and get the skills that are useful as a tester in any context. Now that whole idea of testing is evolution, people would like even a situation how to contribute in this area. So while picking up the domains like telecom or banking and all that, it's kind of years of effort. There are people who are 30, 40 years experience who are business analysts who have seen the banking in and out. You can't immediately go and replace them. The idea is if you are a quick learner, if you are a critical thinker, if you can ask questions where somebody who has been in industry for 20 years has forgotten to ask, your freshness in ideas, your criticality in thinking about problems is going to bring you value to that field, and if you can demonstrate that value, you will be hired in that industry with a no big problem. So you need to orient yourself and understand the imperative, understand the requirements of that domain, and keep your learning instinct, like a childlike curiosity, that you keep it intact, great throughout it. You'll be able to apply them and transitioning to that field become a problem.